is no one. Okay.
Cheers, Kane. Hello again, and welcome back to the Animite Tales podcast. Today we're going to be doing a super casual power chat, or more specifically, we are going to have a relatively super casual chat. But today it's not going to be like any of our normal super casual chats, or anywhere near like any of our workshops, because today we're going to be talking about a couple of updates, which is usually what we do. But instead of then just talking about all sorts of other random casual stuff, we're actually going to be diving into something that I think is quite fascinating in the terms of I feel like anything in the terms of creative media, or even I guess you could say creative substance. I don't know. Either way, I'm just going to move on now from this because today we're going to actually have it that Kane is going to be coming up with visual design for his character, and we're going to talk about visual designs in characters whilst all three of us brainstorm for the actual. I'm going to come up with a better word than character. Whilst we come up and brainstorm the actual design of the character, both visually and also, I guess, sort of representationally as well.
You'll get some of the innards of my character. Ooh.
Indeed. For those of you who don't know, we're currently doing a series called The Dev Plays, where we use the Animite Tales tabletop RPG system, which is a system more specific to superpowers and special abilities. Rather than fantasy, it's more like power fantasy. During the last campaign that we've been doing, that has been going on for a while, known as the Crucible of Avarice, we're coming to the sort of like the last sort of strands of its storyline, and once we finish it, we'll be going into a new campaign called the University of Husconia, where there are going to be characters that are going to be going to university to try and get degrees in becoming heroes of different types and different sorts, and we'll get a little bit further into that a little bit later on. But either way, today, obviously, we have Kane and myself, and we also have Sam. So, hi to the both of you. I hope you guys are doing well.
Todd.
Oh,
it is
it's going.
Just draining me of all life.
I've got I've just now pulled out of the fridge a whole 2-litre bottle of water that's been in the fridge since this morning. So
I mean that's my usual drinking stuff. You're drinking pretty light, so that's only just now. I've had 3 of them today.
Wow. Okay. Jeez.
That's my usual.
That's a bit too much, I think. That's what 6 liters.
Fine. Yeah, that's what my body needs. I'm a very watery boy.
Hydro.
You are the Adam Sandler of this podcast.
Yes. There we go. That's my role.
Yeah.
I'm just now gonna have to change your nickname from an RK on the thing.
Watery boy.
Discord. It's either Watery Boy or Hydro Homie.
No, I'll take Hydro Homie.
Anyway, well, let's get into it. So there's been a few updates through the system. A few different ones. For instance, telepathy has now just had a new update, a new change to it. At the level 10, 2 different abilities you can get is either you mutate the power and it turns from telepathy into technopathy, or originally, when you also could choose that, you could also, instead of having that, you could have something else called telepathic projection, which is basically like astral projection, where you can have an out-of-body experience. However, that is no longer the case. You can still have that perk, but instead, you can have the possibility of an ability called Memory Editor, which will be the level 10. The only reason why we change these things around is because the Memory Editor seemed to be one of the most broken abilities, but also in certain ways it seems like the most necessary abilities, almost mandatory abilities, for a high-powered telepath to be able to go into people's memories and see things the way that they remember them, and be able to sort of look through them like a movie reel or like an archive, but also edit them, change them, take them away, delete them, or even add new fake ones, or even copy them if you have any particular reason as to why. So for this, that's sort of change for telepathy. A couple of other additional changes for balancing purposes, such as ranged weapon physiology. A character who is being played by Connor, also known as Ferb, has the ability to turn himself into a minigun or a chain gun. Now, he wanted to have it where he had the ability to turn one body part into his chain gun, so that he didn't have to become a whole gun and not be able to move around. It's just he's a gun. That's it. That's it. So he doesn't want that. He wanted something else. So in the actual ability itself, you can actually do this. You can turn part of your body into the gun, and that's it. Now, in the original ability, it never actually stated that you couldn't transform multiple parts of your body into your gun. However, it also never necessarily stated it. It was relatively implied that the way in which it was written is that partial transformation is the actual transformation, the mode. So in other words, a part of you is turned into your weapon. Now, as if any of you have seen any of the dev plays from episode 60 onwards, Ferb did a lot of damage, and there is no real other way of putting this. Looking at the way that the system is, he has cheated himself into, or cheated his way into being able to do more damage than is not only normally natural or possible in the game, but is also able to do so much more damage that he actually has to roll just as high of a roll as everyone else does for them to get 2 or 3 more times, where he can multiply it by 30 times. So obviously some changes had to be made. Now that the changes have indeed been made, it is now possible for you to have a character that can have multiple limbs transformed into your gun mode. However, once you have any more than one body part transformed to be the quote-unquote business end of your gun or ranged weapon at a time, you will now take a d12 of damage for every shot fired. So if you have 2 arms that are fully automatic weapons that have been partially transformed into Uzi hands, every single bullet that you fire out, you'll take a d12, which does sound OP, but I also would like to state that this is the fact that the maximum damage that he was able to get was about 1,700, and the maximum amount of damage that he could then take is about nearly 380. So, yeah, we had to make some changes. Again, the level of how much damage he can do is a massive extreme because of the amount of abilities and techniques and things that you need to do to build it up. And again, he is basically level 100, so there are a lot of abilities and perks that he got for him to be able to do this. But I sort of wanted to open this up to you guys there after this, as like what was sort of your opinions on this matter, not necessarily just the way that I've sort of altered this or anything, it's just sort of the whole situation around Ferb and ranged weapons. Nothing?
Well, I mean,
Sorry,
no,
go
I
on,
mean,
Kate.
I think it was one that. No, it's alright. I think it's one of those issues that, I mean, we always knew that guns, at least in this system, had the potential to be very powerful, but they weren't really ever used by players all that much, especially the literal ability to be a gun.
Yeah.
So, this was definitely one of those moments that definitely caught, I think, us off guard with how much damage we could do.
Yes, yeah.
But I mean, I'm still not too sure on how it's been handled. I think it's still a decent method to dealing with it, but I still want to actually see it in action more first, before I make any hard judgments on it.
Fair enough. What about yourself, Kane?
You mean Sam?
Sorry.
Wow.
Wow, Joe.
I'm that forgettable, am I?
Technically, it would be Sam that's more forgettable.
I guess so.
Yeah, I suppose. Again, I'd have to see what it's like in practice. It sounds... I guess it sounds good, theoretically, but it's something I'd have to actually see.
When you say that, what is your sort of main sort of thing to see? Is it the fact that you think that the downside isn't enough, or?
Oh, it's one of those things like I'd have to see what it's like when someone who hasn't I don't say min-maxed.
Pretty much min-maxed, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to see what it's like when someone hadn't min-maxed. If it'd be worth it at that point to do the D12 of damage per round.
That's understandable.
Considering I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I'd have to actually see that isn't Verb doing this.
I think that's completely fair. I think there was another ability with another set of powers that we talked about a few months ago, maybe even about a year ago on another one of the podcasts. And I think you and I had the exact same conversation about an ability that could do the exact same thing of being quite powerful and having a downside. And I think you said the exact same thing of, well, we'd have to see. Obviously, looking into it, and we see it of the medium to high end, but we don't see it of the lower end. And I think we've also had another discussion about this in the complete opposite. I think it actually might have been again with Kane, with you on the podcast before, where we actually talked about the same thing, but it was actually in the opposite spectrum of, well, we see how good it is here, but we haven't seen what it's like in the lower ends. Or even we've seen it what it's like in the lower ends, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will be that great later on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, as was said, Ferb is the extreme of this example.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it will be important to actually see it from a as Sam put, a non-mid-max character. I do agree on that aspect.
I think it's also crazy to me to just... Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's all good.
I was just going to say, I think it's also crazy to me to think, when you start in your next campaign setting, you won't have this many... Because, again, this campaign has been going on for over a year now, about a year and... I'm going to say year and nearly 3/4, so basically it's coming up for about the second year. I think it will be around about September that it will go into its second year. So we're getting up there. And the fact is that we've done so many episodes, that we've done one for sort of every week of the year that we had it from the original. And it is crazy to me to look at it and go, yeah, when we, we'll get up there very quickly again. But the thing is, it took all of you guys about nearly 40 or 50 episodes. Well, probably not even that, actually. I think it was 35 to 40 episodes to get up to this many milestones. But some of you were at a certain point where additional milestones didn't really matter. If anything, you getting additional milestones from your trades, like cooking or a power stone proficiency that you weren't really using, all that it really meant was, oh, cool, I've got an additional 20 health now. And I think it's just going to be phenomenal sort of going back to those roots and going, oh man, this build is going to be crazy broken when you get up to having your character and your powers at max level. And genuinely, the funny thing is on average, most people who get to that level do have about 6 milestones, but that would not put you at that much of a level of health. And again, to point this out, Ferb is at the maximum level count. He has 20 milestones, which equates to 100 levels. He is at the end tier of his entire character. He comes up with a couple of new abilities here, there, and everywhere that he can replace from some of his old ones that he doesn't want anymore. But he has 212 health. To put that into perspective, a character with half of his milestone count would be considered to be at the peak of their superpower and character levels already, and yet a person with that amount of levels would actually have 100 health. So for him to still be able to do the amount of damage he can do, and then be able to pull off an attack who's like, oh yeah, I can do now 30 times damage, that means a minimum of 30 and a maximum of 360. That is gonna be a very big sort of difficulty for him. Or, well, not difficulty for him, sorry, difficulty for anyone else, obviously, of lower caliber, lower level, lower health pool. So, yeah, I definitely think that you're both right in this, that, like, it's a very interesting cell change. Going up to another update, well, we changed a few bits and bobs around with certain different types of reaction types. So, in the tabletop RPG system that we have here with Animite Tales, it doesn't have the AC. We don't have agility score or armor. What is it? It's not agility score, is it? It's agility something. And
what are you talking about? AC?
AC is
armor class?
Yeah. Isn't it also agility score or agility class as well?
No.
Okay.
Armor class includes your dexterity sometimes, depending on what armor you're wearing.
That's why, for some reason, I thought it was agility class. I don't know why. But yes, yeah, it's armor class. Anyway, yeah, we don't have armor class in this system where you roll something, you have to beat that roll, and therefore you win, and you land an attack, or even half of your attack hits, or whatever. We don't have that. Instead, what we actually have is everyone rolls against each other in contesting rolls, unless if they have a specific ability that states otherwise. Now, because of this, people are continuously trying to see whether or not their roles work. Sometimes their strategies might go out the window, but it also keeps things in a nice flow of state, because you have to actually continuously improvise. Now, obviously, there are strategies and abilities that you could come up with or create or even learn that could potentially remove some of the more random chance out of that. For instance, some of you guys already have. But we've added a couple new types of reactions, which are obviously the roles that you do in accordance to something that someone is trying to do against you. The original 3 that we had was Strike, which is just throwing a punch or trying to hit someone with something within a melee concept. The next one was Evasion, so using an ability or using powers or even just using your own stats to evade by dodging out of the way. Another one was then called Blasting, which allowed the user to be able to shoot or blast or throw something at the opponent, and hopefully it would either hit them, distract them, or even clash with the attack that they had, and therefore that would sort of stop it. There are now 2 new ones, 2 new sort of reaction types. Actually, I think there are 3, but either way, the two new ones that I can remember off the top of my head, because I don't actually have my notes here for some reason, are Obstruction, and the other one is Interruption. So Obstruction is pretty much blocking, using things to block or even creating things that would obstruct someone from hitting you. And the other one is then Interruption, which pretty much someone's trying to, I don't know, shoot a gun at you. You can then roll an ability to potentially stop them from ever even firing the gun. They all have their own unique facets and role requirements and statements. For instance, just like Evasion, Interruption requires that the person does beat their opponent's roll. Otherwise, if you match with your opponent's roll, you actually fail. But with Obstruction, similar to striking or blasting, you can get equal to your opponent's roll. However, with Obstruction, you use your own ability to basically cushion the damage before it hits you. And depending on how good of a roll that you get above your opponent, you might be able to cushion more, and then if you get 5 or above, you can completely cushion the entirety of the attack or all of those intricacies have not been worked out. Despite this is sort of just more of a thing to sort of help people understand a few more different ways in which their powers can be used, or techniques can be used to help them sort of understand the different ways in which they could protect themselves when they are being attacked, or even understand the different ways in which that people can react when they are trying to attack their opponents. Despite this is something that is, something that we wanted to sort of implement for a little while. Either way, it's something that has been on my mind ever since. Weirdly enough, if you guys can believe this, it's been on my mind ever since Stan fought against Redoran. This is months and months ago, but when Bill finally came back playing as Stan, I think he'd only been playing as Stan for like 2 sessions, and he had to then have his character fight against someone who beat an Arche at the time. And everyone was very nervous because they didn't know how Bill would be able to sort of go up against, because he was this guy who could shapeshift into technology against basically a magical Phoenix Man. And he ended up being in this Thunderdome and winning the fight in quite a long, largely prolonged, but quite hilarious and fun sort of big final battle. And he used his abilities on multiple times to interrupt his fire blast so they wouldn't even get to him. And that made me realize, okay, maybe we need to specify these, because if we ever create any abilities with similar abilities to this, it makes sense that we do that. Either way, that's all of that sort of taken care of. And the last thing is there is a potential new 16 powers coming to the Power Compendium. So if anyone out there who would like to comment or let us know on anything that they think that they would like to see in the system, check give us a message on either on YouTube, like under the comments on YouTube, or even hit me up on Twitter at Animite Tales, or even just send us a message through the website at animatetales.com. We've got a few different abilities out there. We've got a few fun new ideas and a few sort of things that we're sort of still working the kinks out. But either way, just check it out. And yeah, I think that's me done with the updates. Unless if you guys have anything else to say, if you think I've missed anything.
I don't believe so.
Not that I could think of.
Fair enough. Okay, well, I think we'll just get back into what this is. First thing I should say is we're going to be now talking about Kane's character for the upcoming Hero Huskonian University campaign. Pretty much the main throwdown that I won't spend too long on. Hero Society has grown throughout the world of Beta, and in a wintry country called Huskonia, which is majoritively populated by mutants known as the Husks, they have eventually, after so many years, agreed to be accepting of the Hero Society concept. And over the last 5 years, they have finally built a university to allow people into their dorms. It has been going on for the last 4 years. The last 3 years. So the characters that will be going into it will be first years trying to become heroes, gaining their professional licenses. Very similar to My Hero Academia, but instead of a school setting, it's actually a university setting where they're trying to get both their licenses and also different degrees and different majors, whilst they sort of both have sort of funny roleplay moments, whilst also actually having relatively quite interesting sort of new ways in which we can have a look at how the mechanics can be used in this. This might very well become a sort of play style for the actual modules. So this is not necessarily a spoiler for a module. It's just an idea that we sort of had and we wanted to sort of spring together. So this might be a possibility for the beginners of a module, but so far the campaign is written the way that it is at the moment. Either way, without further ado, Kane, take it away. What are we looking at today?
Oh boy! All right. Well, we're looking at a young man named Theo. Happens to be a dancing boy. I haven't got too much on appearance yet, which is why we're here today.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about your character without giving us too many spoilers. So your character is called Theo. He's a dancer.
Last name not decided yet, but yes.
Okay. Well,
Boy,
how old is this
trying
character?
to think how much backstory to give. Oh, I believe they might be 19. I think.
Okay.
So they're quite young.
Okay, so the character is 19, so we're sort of thinking potentially quite a youthful appearance and a youthful sort of outlook towards their fashion statement, or are they sort of going for...
This is someone who cares about their outwardly appearance.
Okay.
So this is someone who puts... This is the person who spends 30 minutes in the mirror before they go anywhere.
Okay, so I guess the first two questions are hairstyle and hair color.
Yes, I was thinking of that. I imagine the very like sort of neatly like slick back hairstyle. Maybe a bit spiky in places to give it more character. But I don't think it'd be. I think it'd be sort of like medium length, slick back. If that makes sense. Like it wouldn't be long hair. Be like a good kept length, so it doesn't really get in the way. But hair color, I'm still not too sure on of this moment.
I don't know why, but I immediately think it doesn't help that your last character had like white silver hair. I'm now suddenly thinking the exact same thing of like, it sort of whitish silver hair. For some reason, also blonde comes to mind.
We're getting another relative of Judas Traveler here.
Yes, another relative. That's no secret, Sam. That's all my characters.
I mean, to be fair, when I first heard that, I don't know why I just thought Ginger.
Ginger. I don't know why that doesn't stick into my head as much, but that's quite interesting.
Maybe it's just because.
I mean, or we go
is an orange fox.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Or maybe we go with like a dyed hair concept. So whatever hair color they have at the moment isn't their natural hair color.
Okay. I mean, one...
Because that allows us to go a bit more outlandish with the color scheme.
That's also true. Unless if we are actually stating that the character actually has natural, unnatural hair color. Like, for some reason has... I mean, to be fair, then again, silver is not necessarily a natural hair color for youthful people, so again, that's potential.
Because I'm either committing to like a very bright color hair, or I'm committing probably to like quite a dark color. And that's vague,
so that's completely
vague. It's not really dark, but my point is I'd probably be more going like either if I go dark, it will be like that sort of like pretty much black color.
In other words, extremes of each of the sort of different spectrums.
Yeah. You could have
shading.
You could have both, though. You could have highlights.
I could.
Nobody wants frosted tips.
Yes.
I don't know.
Back.
I could always do the classic, which is the black and white that people seem to do with their hair.
You could look like Death the Kid.
Yeah.
Whoa! Hold your tongue. Death the Kid is great.
Well, it'd be that, but except slicked back hair.
I don't know why, but for some reason, the first thing that I heard when you said slick back hair, when you were first talking about this character, I for some reason saw him in a pompadour.
Yeah, I ain't pompadouring this character.
You're not being a dandy.
No, that's for a specific character idea I have, and they have a very specific power that I'm making with it. So.
Oh, okay, interesting.
That's for later ideas.
Also, for some reason, I was just suddenly thinking like a very much Hikari vibe with your character, which is another reason why I thought of that. But either way.
Yeah, so I don't know what colors. I mean, let's get some colors on the table. Let's go with maybe like a dirty blonde or something like that. That will be my first card. What about you two?
Well, I think I might be able to actually create some image holders that I might be able to do, and then if you guys just post them in the Discord, I can then pop them on here. Let's see if I can do that.
I suppose that is the question. When you say slicked back, what kind of slicked back are you talking about?
I'll show you what I mean.
You talk about like the 1950s slicked back or like the Elvis slicked back?
A bit more modern. Is this the one I want? Which one? That's not the one I want. It's this one. I'll show you what I mean. You're gonna allow me to actually like that sort of thing.
Oh.
So I'll just grab that. See if I can save that image. I can indeed. I'll put it in pictures. I'll show
more the modernized this is someone who wants to take care of their hair sort of ideal. Because I feel like the whole point I want to do with this character is they sort of project everything outwards. So the way they dress and the way they style themselves is basically what you get.
So I've just now put it up on the screen next to Kane's Anarche art, so that we can actually have a look at this on the screen. So this is the picture. So this is the sort of slick back hairstyle that you're sort of thinking for your character.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I think that's fair enough. I mean, it works out. It's sort of very much sort of like a douchebaggy sort of vibe. I mean, it doesn't help that the way in which the person is looking at us is trying to squint off of the camera. Like, maybe if I squint harder, that slight piece of dirt will move from that camera.
Hey, we're not here to judge the person being photo taken.
I mean, hey, it's more the look rather than the person. I will say
he does look like
I
Island.
I was thinking that, or maybe, but in the drawing, trying to make it a bit more spikier and extreme, if that makes sense. Not like stupid over the top level, but.
So what I'm hearing is Gohan Super Saiyan 2.
No. That's
dear.
too spiky. Just a bit more. Yeah, maybe a bit more. I guess instead of just smooth, how that is a bit more maybe a bit more messy, if that makes sense. But almost that sort of purposeful messy look.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we've got at least a frame of reference. Sam, do you have any colours that we might be able to sort of go for? Because I've got.
From that hairstyle, I mean, kind of, brunette. Light brunette, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, since you said to go for the sort of weird and wacky, I think I'm going to have to say the weird and wacky. I'm going to say it blue hair.
I'm curious why blue of all colours.
I don't know. It's just a very weird sort of disco-y colour. I mean, I did actually think bright pink, to be fair.
I mean, pink is always in fashion.
Pink is always in fashion for a hair colour, yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
To be fair, though, I feel like, to be entirely honest, your character seems like as if they would almost scream out, yeah, normal, natural sort of thing. I think blonde would probably work quite well. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, I think brunette isn't too bad, but I think blonde sort of works out, because there's both the sort of the bright colour that you could sort of go for, depending on how blonde you want it, but also it sort of goes with that sort of the lighter sort of hair colour without necessarily going for something a bit too distracting. Because I think if obviously we go for something too colourful, then it almost sort of takes it away.
Yeah.
That being said, if your character is sort of more on the side for just sort of having a particular colour that sort of embodies them, that is also a possibility.
Yeah, but that can also be in their fashion as well.
Yeah, so again, not necessarily having, because I feel like it's always one of those weird things where someone's like especially in an anime, where it's like, oh, this person's favorite color is pink, and their hair is pink, and their costume is pink, and you're just thinking, okay, so they must dye it, and they go, no, it's naturally pink, and you're just like, okay, so you just went right.
I mean, Joe, it's clearly through sheer force of will that they turned their hair pink.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, but like that's for
Yeah.
instance my favorite color being brown because my hair is brown.
I mean, is it?
And you're a very generic person.
No. Well, see what I mean? It would be a very generic person if I liked my favorite color was the color of my hair. It isn't, but it's the fact that that's my point of like, I think that it's very interesting that a character can wear a color and not necessarily have their hair be that color that they also like.
Yeah. Unless we get really messy and it's like, people who have their, I think this is a lot of women do this as well. You know how they have their hair so it's like it will be darker at the roots and then as it sort of goes out it will go into more like browny blondie colors.
Yeah, I mean, yes, yeah, sort of like darker at the roots, sort of lighter at the
Yeah, unless it's something like that where it's like his hair is more darker, like sort of root wise, and then as it sort of goes out, it's a bit more. It goes into that more browny blonde sort of color.
Okay, I mean, yeah, sort of going for as. Funny enough, I think Sam said it earlier. It's like sort of dirty blonde, sort of kind of concept that could sort of work. Another possibility, actually, going off of that. I know that I said that it would be terrible, but obviously the frosted tips idea of just like having it that they actually have sort of a more naturally darker hair color, but for some reason the tips of their hair actually have certain lighter sort of colors in them. I mean, either one.
I mean, is that in the Huskanian fashion, Joe? That's the important question.
Going back to the character who enjoys the idea of having a fashionable statement for their hair. I feel like we could state that it's not necessarily a part of the fashion, but it's more that's just how his hair naturally is. Unless if you want it, that the character is showing off that their hair is actually indeed that way. What would you think? Do you think that your character would have naturally like odd looking hair, or would they have hair that is actually quite mundane, but then they sort of copy from sort of trends that have been set?
I think given their backstory, their hair would just be generic.
Interesting.
And then it would be the fact that they've gone out of their way to make it look more interesting.
Then there you have it. So now the only real question is, would it be fashionable in Huskania? Probably. I don't know. It might be one of those sort of maybe it's one of those sort of fashion trends that is sort of actually Sam has just put one on here. I'll show it off actually because this is actually a really good point. Here.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
This is a slightly better picture.
Okay, good.
There's the full head.
It's from Infamous. Which one is it? Is Infamous First Light? There we go. Okay.
Yes, essentially an expansion pass.
Okay, so if I just grab this and I show, so kind of having certain highlights or something like that. I think that would.
Yeah.
I think that would be sort of fair enough. So, would you have it that you have somewhat natural hair underneath and then natural looking highlights?
I think it would be like probably natural dark hair, right?
Okay.
And then like as it slicks back and as it looks somewhat spiky, the like those upper bits of the hair are more like that brownish blonde color.
Okay. So far we've got the idea of potentially having sort of a black hair with sort of brownish blonde sort of highlights.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you're writing this down.
No, I'm gonna start now.
Yes, start now. Whilst that's going on, we then go. I guess we can then sort of go to sort of the beginning of the fashion, which I guess we could start at tops or start from the bottom. It's completely up to you whether or not you want to start with the shoes or end with the shoes.
You know, one of you roll a d2 and we'll decide through that.
Sam, could you do that for us?
Okay.
And you know what,
So
Sam,
which
you get
one's
to
which?
pick. You get to pick, Sam. What do you want it to be?
Well, one will be top, two will be bottom.
Okay,
Alright.
that makes sense.
Okay. So we're doing tops.
Awesome.
Alright.
Okay, so we can talk about jewelry and accessories after we've sort of finished this. So let's begin at the top. Are we having sort of, are we having sort of 70s flared sort of tops and sort of things? Because again, your character is a dancer. Are they the sort of 70s style dancer, or do they have a little bit less of a sort of how do I put it? Less of an actual sort of stereotype.
I feel like it is a bit less stereotyped, with maybe a bit that maybe there's a bit of inspiration taken into it, but I feel like his main clothing would just be again this sort of, I guess, trying to project his his like personality. So I imagine it would be. It'd have to be a get up that all sort of, it would have to be a get up that perfectly fits together. So
Okay.
everything in every color has its place that's meant to mesh well with the other colors. I don't know. Also, I should state that he's probably making do, considering the fact that I think this should also project in his clothing style maybe a bit, is the fact that he doesn't have much money. He wasn't exactly raised in a high-do family, so.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is a white open V-neck shirt. Let's see if I can find a. There we go. All of the ones that I found are very boring. Aha, there we go. Okay. I'll show it to both of you first. Save image. And then, why does it keep going there? Okay. Have you got one of... It's called style, people. Okay, Sam.
Exactly.
I'll show you guys here if it'll actually load. There we go. Something sort of like that. And I'll also put on OBS as well.
No collar, though?
I mean, we can work up from there. If there is a collar that you want, then you can get a collar. Good lord, why is it that big?
Yeah. Is he a Polo Man shirt?
Like, no. All shirts should have collars.
Very strong opinions here, so.
Yeah.
I've just lost the image.
No,
I don't
nice.
believe in the collar of the shirt.
They don't exist.
I still have faith in them.
I'm curious. Bad experience or just.
They're just, where are you meant to put it? Where are you not meant to put a tie?
There we go. Okay. Yes, so there it is on the screen. that was a complete ordeal. I'm not saying that this is it, but I feel like a potential sort of like style of this sort of sword. Like, like it's sort of open, sort of showing the character's confidence, having it that it is sort of like, it is very sort of basic and simple looking, but also it can have the ability for someone to roll the sleeves up. Potentially sort of a sort of style sort of going for that sort of look, and potentially it could go well with sort of darker colours on the lower half. So that's my argument. That's sort of one that I'm sort of bringing to the table here, so to speak. What do you guys think?
I mean, white shirts are always good. They do go with many things.
Thank you.
See, Sam, I'm not even quite sure my character could afford an outfit like that.
I mean, they're not that expensive.
It's a white shirt.
I'll just put this into clarity. I did like a random background generation, somewhat of a random background generation for my character, just to get base things. And my character got the poorest of the poor.
Let me put it this way. It's this particular one is linen, right? It's called a linen Oasis shirt. On this website, I don't know if it's brand pricing or not, but it's $60.
Yeah,
Jesus,
ain't affording that.
No.
This is what we need to. This is also the fact. My character's, fashion taste will grow and the pricing as he gets money. But at the minute, it needs to be poor man's fashion. Is what we're having to do here.
Does anyone want to?
So what you're saying is, what we need to find is clothing you could find at like a Goodwill or a charity shop.
I just want to also show this off because you've sent it now, Sam, and we have to see it. We have to look at this.
No offense, 100% you could get that at a charity shop.
I mean, it does look quite glorious. I will have to admit, it does look quite hilarious.
I am just imagining. I don't know why. I'm just still imagining him. Maybe not in those colors, obviously, but like a leisure suit, with the flares and the jacket.
I mean, I feel like that's for the party nights.
Yeah, although to be fair, going off of that, there is another possibility, which is the sort of I don't know if it's got an actual name to it, but the UK chav look.
That would be quite funny to do. It would be.
Let me. I'm probably going to get a very, very deep question.
Do you mean you mean like the tracksuit brigade?
No, it's not. It's normally like hoodies and.
That's what I mean.
It's hoodies with a very basic shirt with either black jeans or tracky bottoms, and then it's like either like it'll be black and white socks or some other thing with then like white or some other sort of coloured trainer.
It's pretty much just a freaking tracksuit. I'm trying to actually find one.
Yeah. This is. I looked up UK chav, and this is one of the pictures that came up. Oh, here it is. Here is the exact picture I assume every time. The guy on the right with the Nike.
I've got to see this.
That's exactly the look. The grey. The mono color.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know. I don't know if I can put that on here.
I like nothing between the eyes.
As is everyone living in Brun.
I mean, true, but still. Less than nothing between the eyes. Negative.
Jeez. Okay, so we're clearly getting somewhere. What about I'm trying to think if there is another one that we can do. What about just trying to think if there's anything else that we can use to our advantage on this one. Are any of these sort of working for you here, Kane?
I'm sort of imagining if we're going with it, he probably has probably has a hoodie on, right? But it's probably like a zipped hoodie. He probably leaves the zips open so you can see the shirt underneath.
Yeah.
that, and it's probably easier to take off then. I feel like I don't know what the shirt would, because I think it would either be like the shirt is either like the I don't know how to describe it. You know the shirts that try and look like posh shirts, but they ain't really. They're those like they're those
Polyester
like
ones?
college shirt. They're like the college shirts with the short sleeves. They'll normally have like a logo on or something. They're basically just a t-shirt pretending to be an actual smart shirt. I don't know if do I have any.
Is it the like this kind of ones? Like they're like the polyester ones? Like these ones?
Yeah, those sort of things.
Yeah, like the ones you would wear for like when you were in primary school, and they give you
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is part of your uniform.
Yeah, this is the it's pretending to be smart, but it's
It's not working.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be like something like that under an open zipped hoodie. And then I feel like for trousers, I don't know. With this current picture, does this person seem more like a tracky bottom person, or do they seem more like a jeans person?
I originally thought something like chinos, personally, but I could see a potential for other forms of attire.
Because the only thing with jeans is they're too restricting in terms of like
Wait.
the stuff you'd want to do.
What about like jean shorts? Like the ones that they're like they're all ripped down by the knee.
Oh, I know. Yeah, like the messy. Yeah, that could work.
Mm.
I'm currently moving your art so that I can put this over to the side when we can see it. There we go.
Because there's nothing cooler than a jacket with shorts.
Yes. Even though I'm in an icy country here.
Exactly. It just proves how cool you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've somewhat got the semblances of the idea for the shirt and the trousers. So are we actually then sticking with sport short sleeve polo shirt?
I would say so. Yeah, sorry. I'm just going to write some of this down.
I mean, there is another possibility where actually it's just booty shorts, Sam, really?
Oh, I just realized they're not long enough, are they?
No, I get what you mean, where it's like they go down to like the knee sort of area, right?
Yeah, I was trying to find shorts that actually have like the kind of rip bits at the bottom.
It's more like they were jeans that then got ripped.
Yes.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Is this... here's a closer representation, I guess.
I just want to point out that we've now got this actually on the stream, so we can now see what you're putting in on here for the first time. So there you go.
Oh, thank God, only now after all the terrible things I've said.
Yeah.
Yeah. That group agreement. Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Actually, yeah, the sort of ripped jeans. To be fair, actually, you have lived in Husqvarna, which is a cold, wintry country, for the last 10 years.
If not my character's entire life. So I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it would make sense. Just so used to it now. Although in the main cities, it's probably not that bad. They probably have pretty good heating anyway.
I mean,
Yeah.
still, it doesn't matter how good someone's heating is. I'm not going to walk around in the middle of the city with shorts on.
It can be done. It can definitely be done. And I only know this because I had a brother who was also able to achieve this feat. So.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I've seen it.
So it's definitely possible.
It's possible.
I mean, I have looked up.
Thing is, though,
Apparently, they do that in Canada.
Canada.
Yeah,
you see,
Canada.
like, if they can do it, you can do it. Not
I'm actually surprised that no one's looked this up, so I'm actually going to look up something, and if I can find it, this will be great. Please.
Is this my pronunciation of Canada?
No. It's just something else. Damn it. Okay, I was trying to look up Parker shorts. Because like the jacket Parker, like the Parker jacket. I was trying to see if that you could make shorts out of Parkers. What if there is such a thing as winter shorts?
Probably is.
No, I'm not looking for that. Just winter shorts, please. I'm finding some very questionable things on this form of.
Yep, it's a lot of women in tights. It seems.
Yeah, I'm not really looking for that.
What about this? This kind of fashion trend.
I mean, actually, that's not good.
That is a look.
That is definitely.
It is a look.
It is definitely a look of all time.
I mean, I prefer to go with the person in the background, if I'm going to be honest. But
okay, it could be like this, where you wear shorts, but then something underneath them, like body warmers.
Actually, that is a good point.
Like leggings.
They do that.
Work.
They do that with footballers as well, don't they? Sort of long john, sort of like underoos, whilst then having shorts. That's actually a good point. Although, what are they called? Are they called long johns or underoos?
Oh, I love these. These are absolutely ugly looking shorts, but they do look warm.
Gotta see them now.
They look like you'll see them in a second. You know exactly what they look like.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was looking for. Yes, yeah. I don't know what those are called. What are those called, Sam?
Rab Prosar short.
Reprosa or Reprosor?
Rab men's Prosar down shorts. I don't know. Rab. What's it? What the hell they're called? Prosar is what they're coming up as.
Is that?
That might be a brand, but that's all I'm coming up with what they're.
Oh, Rab Prosar. As in, those are two separate words. Rab Prosar. Rab being the actual.
Yeah. Oh.
So what is it? Just Prosar? Maybe it's Prosar. Like, is the name of the actual that type of insulation? Prosar. Yeah. Let's see what happens when I do that.
Actually, they seem to be less shorts and things you cover your trousers in.
Yeah.
Like you pretty much put it on over your trousers.
Yep, Rab Prosar shorts. That's what they're called. They are called Rab Prosar shorts or Prosar shorts, but they're mostly specifically done by the brand Rab. Okay, cool. Well,
we're not non-spawn, by the way.
None of this is sponsored by anything, but you know what, guys? If you want to sponsor us, we're looking at your clothes.
Yes, Rab.
Well, it's definitely not happening now. Not with that performance.
You know what? If it would be great if we did get it, but the fact that we have to then tell Coin, yes, could you put the brand logos on the character that we got sponsored for?
Yeah.
Oh, this immediately turns into all those joke versions of Superman where he's just immediately
it's just
the Balenciaga thing, yeah.
He's just logos everywhere, and then your character sees dominoes and does nothing but commercials.
Jeez. Okay, so what about those for some shorts then for your character?
I definitely like the what was it, the the third picture up, the one that Sam sent, the one with like the thinner looking shorts, but with the I don't know what you still call them, but like the warmers underneath.
Let me
Leggings?
let me try and look it up because I think there is I think it's underoos. Underoos.
I think it's just called leggings.
I mean, there might be.
They're not
It might just be,
underoos.
like-
What are, they're not underoos. Underoos is it long johns? I think it's long johns.
I mean, long johns isn't that just a full outfit?
You might be
Isn't
right.
long johns the thing that
No,
they used to wear back in the olden times with like
No.
a
long johns are actually they're an underwear sort of form, but they're just long legs. Basically, they're either long leg underwear or basically leg warmers. But either way you put them on there. They're basically like I'll get a picture because
What about that? Can you look? Is that more like what you're looking at?
in this case, if you have actually joined this,
that kind of thing. Yeah.
if you have actually joined today's stream, we are very sorry if you've just come in and just start. We've been talking about underwear. Here's what they look like, by the way, so that you can get more of like an actual sort of reference. That's what they look like underneath. Just as themselves. So that would be it. So it'd be long johns. So that's actually I should probably put that down.
Or leggings.
Yeah, I guess you can also
Leggings,
potentially
I
have
think it's the
leggings.
same
But
Yeah.
long johns is their name. There we go. So you can potentially have some shorts, long johns, or leggings, and then I have to be honest, trainers potentially. Or actually, are there like winter? There's like some winter trainers, like winter shoes that aren't boots.
Okay, I must tell you this. As much as great an artist as Coin is, he doesn't really do well with shoes.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Not to be rude, but
Whoa,
No.
guys! This is something that he'll be able to see.
No, Iggy said it before.
Yeah,
said it
he's
before.
told me the same thing. He said that he's
So,
not
like-
great with shoes.
Yeah, so simple shoes would be good. So trainers, the kind of like, pretty much ones that have definitive looks. There's like boots, trainers,
I mean, these
the
kind
pointy
of
ones.
these kind of look like a little bit in between. I've got them here. If I can actually open it up, I can show you. Like this. So they look a little bit like trainers and they look a little bit like boots.
Yeah.
I mean, if not, you could always potentially have it as if you actually say, hey, could you just put a little fur around the rims of the shoes where the shoes meet the ankles, I guess, or shoes end and the ankles begin.
some
Hello.
brown fur.
Some brown fur if you wanted. I mean, you wouldn't put pink fur coming out of them.
No,
Damn, I was really
Yeah,
hoping I
that's
could
the
get
thing
you
as
with
well.
that.
Is,
I thought you
Is
would, but
this is just this is the first picture. There'll be many more, no doubt. This is the basic look.
So
I mean, actually, that's a pretty good look. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, but
So, what are we having for a jacket then? Are we sort of finalising this with a jacket or any other potential final?
I
last
think
minute
I think it would be a jacket. I was actually ironically thinking maybe a fur jacket.
Okay, sort of a fur coat sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'd say that
Wait, are we
makes sense.
how fur coat are we talking about? Are we talking like the pimp fur coat or
Not. I don't know about the pimp fur. You know, like the ones where it's like where your sort of neck rests as the fur, and then the rest of it is sort of leathery. If that makes sense.
oh,
what's
so
it
not
called?
that.
Not the full fur thing. No, not like I've skinned an animal alive.
Coat with fur hood.
I think it's called a fur
Yeah,
neck leather jacket.
That's like coat with fur. See what comes up.
Oh, I think I found it. It's not as flary as I'd hope it to be, but I've got it here.
It's not Ric Flair enough.
It ain't Rick.
It's very blurry,
Oh.
but I'll do it.
What about like this kind of look? Was nope, bollocks. Didn't mean to send that. Sent
No
the wrong
bollocks.
one by accident. meant to send this.
What about
one,
this
if it
one?
worked.
What about this one?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, those sort of things.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. The bomb one kind of reminds me of the thing that Luke wears in episode 5, like when he's on Hoth.
Yes, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. That was a way better.
It's a bit more of a better sort of look at one.
But I think that would sort of be the
sort of bomber jacket.
I think that would be the sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that sort of thing, open with the polo shirt underneath, and then the shorts with the, I guess like the.
So that's called a bomber jacket with a fur collar. I assume you're writing this down, so I'm just getting the.
I'm copying the images, so I have references.
Okay, that's actually better. What kind of color are you going to go for the fur on that? Is it sort of going to go again? You're going to go sort of like the regular sort of
probably like a browner.
Brown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any final accessories with your character?
Well, we haven't really talked about the actual face.
That's true, although would your character... I'd assume, due to your character being quite young, he probably wouldn't have facial hair.
If anything, he probably looks like the character in the first picture I sent. At very...
God,
apologies for the language. The fuckboy sort of...
Let me scroll all the way up. There we go.
All the way up, man.
Yeah, the sort of like either no stubble or very light stubble, like almost completely freshly shaven, barefaced, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Sam sending us that.
What? Isn't that what you're looking for? Youthful.
Can't.
I mean,
I can't say that is Sam. I can't say that is.
I can't deny he did kind of deliver on what we were saying.
He did. Just they ain't what I'm looking for.
That ain't what I'm looking for. Well, I think
This way, I ain't using my pinnacle token on that.
No. So, what we have so far is a sort of a slick back, sort of stand-uppy, spiky hair, with sort of dark hair with sort of dirty blonde highlights. Wearing a bomber jacket with a dark polo shirt underneath, shorts, and underneath the shorts, long johns, and then snow trainers or winter shoes.
Yes.
This is going to be one interesting character. I think the funniest thing is that we don't even know what his abilities are yet, which is, again, it will be nice to sort of see that when that comes to light. But unless if there's any other things that you want to add, I think that's the sort of character done, isn't it?
I mean, we're not going to do the hero outfit.
No, well, I mean, we're sort of overclocking the time by about 8 minutes already.
We can do that next episode.
Oh, okay, next episode.
I mean, yeah, we have to
next
have an episode.
Cast.
We have to have an episode where we talk about how to design a hero costume, and we just spend the entire time talking about
there we go then.
Theming.
Episode part 2, hero costume.
Whether that will be
it's a
next
2 out of 3 vote, Joe.
Whether that will be next episode or not, we'll have to have a look into it because we have got a schedule that we have just put up. But that will be the next time that we do a casual episode. But I guess the last question: what color eyes does your character have?
Yeah, I guess we'll discuss this one finally as a quick finalized one because I don't actually know.
I'm going to say blue.
Blue isn't a bad choice.
Ooh. It's red.
No.
Now hear me out.
He's a brunette, isn't he?
I mean, yeah, but hear me out. It would make sense
really
to have...
green.
I mean, green, yeah. But, like, the reason as to why I bring it up is potentially because then it could be something that's relatively quite iconic to the character. To have like a very specific type.
Isn't that outfit already iconic enough?
Well, I mean something that could potentially be seen regardless of their outfit. Like for instance, like even if they're behind a mask or even something that sort of stands out as that's their sort of signature thing.
I mean,
I don't know. I kind of like the idea that like their base appearance is generic. That's kind of a part of it. Is they go out of their way to make themselves look less generic.
In that case, then if you want generic, may I offer you the colour known as hazelnut brown for the eye colour? Because that is the most generic colour ever.
Although,
I still think
I've done a character with green eyes.
To be fair, doing green eyes wouldn't be too bad.
I've done a blue. I've done brown a trillion times.
I mean, something else with green is you could again make it relatively a unique green. You could make it sort of a lime green. You can make an emerald green. Sort of go.
I mean, an emerald green eyes wouldn't be bad.
No. Now I'd need to actually have a look at the actual color emerald green.
Okay. I'm looking through an eye color chart thing. See what there is.
Oh, okay. Just send the entire.
So we can get. Yeah, so we can get like the correct color. You know. You can say, oh, like, considering like emerald green, and now that could be a bit.
I mean, I think this is a little over-exaggerated, but I do actually have one here. Can you tell if this is real or not?
I'm going to go with real. Well, there's an eye color called Blue Star. I have to admit, that's pretty cool.
I mean, that is actually pretty sick.
Blue Star? Oh, yeah.
Kind of want to just do it based off that name alone.
You change your whole color style now just to blue, so you can call yourself Blue Star.
Although Liz looks like, like one of those electrical ball things.
Yeah, like a Tesla ball. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't say I've ever seen anyone with that eye color in my life, but I guess it exists.
To be fair, Veil is also pretty. Veil sort of having that sort of...
it's like the green with the reddish and the...
Yeah, sort of green.
Do we send another...
Yellow sort of thing.
Yes, find more charts.
Okay, here's another chart.
Gold.
Gold.
And clearly Garrus just based off the best companion out of Mass Effect.
Exactly. 100%. That's why I chose this one.
So what do you feel in the terms of your eye color? Bonanza.
I feel like I'm either leaning to like a darkish blue or a... I think I'm leaning to like a darkish blue to that purpley sort of color.
Weirdly enough, now that I see grey, I'm sort of thinking grey, which is a really weird sort of...
Yeah.
I mean, grey could work because my character has quite vibrant hair because it's like the dark and then it goes into that like brownish blonde and then just having like grey eyes.
It also would go well with your whole concept of a very generic looking character. Ironically, having a very sort of like sort of a very blank slatish color, and although that it could very well be conceived as not very generic in the terms of eye color, it's still quite a generic color as a whole.
Mm.
I mean, okay, so you could always have like heterochromia.
Oh yes, yeah.
Could do.
Like
what would be the other color?
Like you could have one color. Oh no.
Red and blue.
Black and white.
Green and grey.
Then again, green and grey wouldn't be too bad. That would actually be quite interesting.
Would be. You know what? Sure, why not? We'll go with that.
Oh, actually,
green
this one
and
looks...
grey eyes.
These ones are quite cool. these eyes, because they're like, as opposed to being different colors, they're different. They themselves like half and half.
Hmm.
If it'll load.
So is that then sort of chosen then for you?
Yeah, we'll go green and grey.
Okay. What are you going half
Green
and
and
half
grey
on
eyes.
both, or one being one being the other?
I mean, half and half would be pretty cool. On both.
Yeah.
Both. Well, what would it be? Would it be like... So obviously those ones are like split at an angle, isn't it? And it's like grey at the bottom.
Yeah. We've gotten to the eye staring part of this. If people are very uncomfortable at looking at eyes, we apologise. We apologise.
I'm sure Coin will love joining. I'm sure Coin will love drawing half and half eyes.
I think he would probably be less upset with one being one and one being the other. But I mean, giving him the challenge, he'll probably still accept it nonetheless.
He is pretty good at drawing eyes at times.
He is.
Just the colouring of it.
I think he's quite good with colouring and shading. I think it is just the shape of shoes and feet he sort of struggles with sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But shading, I can never fault him for his shading. His shading is pretty good.
Like you could do like these kind of eyes he does quite well. With this character. He did the colour of the eyes quite well.
That's true. Those are half black, half blue, so
yeah.
Well, I think there we have it. So, what have you gotten written down on your character's visual design?
Well, 90% of the document is just pictures.
Okay.
I've got the slick backs like you have the black roots and then the brown blonde for the rest. Again, got the black polo shirt with an open bomber jacket, which just makes me sound like a criminal.
Okay.
I'm gonna be stealing everyone's, I don't know, sight. How good I look. And then I now need to write down the shoes and the shorts with I forgot what they're called, but
Long
the
johns.
underneath things. Long johns.
Oh,
leggings.
Long Johnson. Or leggings.
Or leggings.
Yeah. Whichever one sort of works. Although then again, he is American.
I
think
he would probably prefer you said long johns.
I know that's exactly what I have to say. Leggings, then, because he says aluminum.
Yeah.
So it's whether I want to win karma points at this point.
I mean,
it works. It works regardless.
Do what you think is right.
Well, hopefully in a few weeks' time or a few sessions, a few podcasts' time, we'll hopefully be presenting this character once Coin has completed this task. For those of you who don't know, Coin is the artist, also known as Coming Soon Entertainment or Coming Soon Coin. You can check him out at Twitter at Coming Soon Entertainment or at Coming Soon _ Coin, where Coin does a lot of different arts. He's also the main artist, or the only artist for the Animite Tales for all of the artworks that we actually have. Yeah, and hopefully he'll be doing the artwork for Theo. Last name yet to be confirmed. But nevertheless, this has been the Animite Tales podcast casual power chat. It's been such a weird episode. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. Hopefully you've all had a good time listening to us babble on about different things. Depending on the format, I might actually keep the Discord chat that we have on these, so that then when we're sending things to each other, we actually have the live feed sort of going through, so that people at home can see what exactly we're doing. But other than that, yeah, take care and have a wonderful night.
see you in the future.
Bye bye.
And as always, ciao ciao for now.